And no one complained about restaurants. And they were so excited.
Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we will continue our discussion on divine determination, also known as Qadar. So last time we were discussing a few things about, in the fourth point of the author making, divine determination is basically tied to knowledge, and knowledge is dependent on the thing known. So we can only talk about something that is existing. So I took some notes from our last time, what we kind of discussed. So I'll just go over it briefly and then we can continue. So we are responsible for our free will, which follows the order in the universe. For example, to plant a tree, I must obey the order of how to plant, basically by planting the seed, then watering it, right, and waiting for the plant to grow. So I have to follow the order. So the DNA is code in terms of knowledge. So the DNA and the seed is just knowledge, but it cannot act or cannot create. And by following my free will, I cannot create anything, but must follow the order and pray to God for the creation to happen. So I'm being educated here. Basically, I must investigate the order, find out what the order is to get the result, and then take precautions so that it happens, and then obey the order properly for the result to be created. And it was also mentioned that there are exceptional cases, according to me. They may seem exceptional, but that also happen within an order. For example, a tsunami or a volcano eruption doesn't happen accidentally or chaotically, but within an order as well.
One word, obeying the order
Obeying the order
means obeying the will of the creator. Because there is no order independent of creator's will.
Yep, good point. So the order is not happening by itself. Whoever sets the order. So by following the order, I'm obeying basically the Lord of the universe. And of course, I'm not aging by myself. We talked about aging, and what's the other thing we spoke about?
Growing, aging,
Growing, aging.
dying.
Yeah.
The things are, it
Or
seems
or evolution, as the science says. Yeah.
yeah.
Evolving.
The whole life of the universe, as far as life of the universe is concerned. For example, they say universe is expanding. Quran uses the same word. He expands his creation. Exactly the same word.
Yeah.
I can find out. We are using the same computer. That's very interesting.
Okay.
Let me remember the verse first.
So I'm not aging by myself. I don't decide the time of my death, but someone is deciding what
About every stage of
every
my
stage of my
existence,
life. Yeah.
not only death time. Ecel means every stage of my life, I am giving death and I am giving life.
Right. Ajal, we discuss a
Yeah.
time span
We
of
understand Ecel when the tree dies, when human being dies. That is correct, but at the same time, every moment I am experiencing my Ecel.
every moment, Ajal. Time span, a beginning and an end. The spirit has a beginning, but departs this universe, and God promises eternity to the spirit with the body. So the spirit has a beginning, but God promises that it does not have an end. So that's an exception. We are analyzing the relationship between human free will and divine determination. Human free will is restricted to knowledge as far as the result of human choice. There is creation where God knows what I am going to choose, which is within his absolute knowledge, not bound to space-time. I think this was towards the end, we were touching upon what this author is discussing in terms of divine determination and human free will. The universe is arranged according to my choice with his absolute knowledge and power. The result created out of my choice is divine determination acting. So whatever I choose, the universe is arranged accordingly. And that all that arrangement is also within his knowledge and power. So he knows, the one who knows, the absolute owner knows what I will be choosing. Although I'm left free to choose, which is very interesting. So the result created out of my choices. So the result of my choice is basically knowledge and divine determination acting. Okay, any thoughts or anything that's anybody wants to touch upon from these notes? Or something is not clear that we need to discuss more, we can do that as well.
51:47.
51:47.
51:47.
We built the universe with great might, and we are certainly expanding it. وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ.
We are expanding.
We constructed.
Now it is 150 years ago. The Bedouin in desert knows this.
Expanding it.
Only 21st century, they say, universe is
Expanding.
expanding. 1400 years ago, an illiterate person said, Allah is expanding. The creator of the universe is expanding.
So right now they say it's expanding by itself.
Yeah. You see how, first of all, how we left the universe to material, unbelieving people, how they are really turning upside down. And even the Muslims are really admiring these developments, not knowing what the Quran is saying. But at the same time, Muslims claim that they believe in the Quran. It is, I don't know how to explain the situation of these Muslims immersed in the world, claiming that they believe in God.
Mm. Yeah, so
I don't know.
we built
I
the
have to
universe.
take care of myself.
Inshallah. We built the universe with great might, and we are certainly expanding it. We.
It's a newly discovered physics principle.
Mm.
Expanding universe. Oh, Nobel Prize. They should give this Nobel Prize to this illiterate man. Even if they don't believe,
Mm.
they should acknowledge. The Quran is full of miraculous news, actually. Not only the famous, how the fetus develops in the mouth.
Right.
They're disputed, but these are obvious.
Okay, Bismillah. Okay, so we'll continue then. The thing known is not dependent on knowledge. So whatever is known, whatever is existing, the thing known is not dependent on knowledge. And he explains that is the principles of knowledge are not fundamental, so that the knowledge directs the thing known with regard to its external existence. So I know the knowledge you said once, that this knowledge that we're thinking of is not in terms of our knowledge that we think of in this world, but absolute knowledge is very different
Even the knowledge
in our world.
the think of now,
Yeah.
I know only what's already existing.
Mhm.
But I know only what's already existing through my previous experiences.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That is the difference. The creator's knowledge is obvious in the existence of each and every being. Because whatever you look, take an example.
Mhm.
Any example from the universe, an ant and a leaf, and I don't know, a molecule of air, you already know that the one who creates it must know it beforehand. The plan must be with it. So accordingly, it must be created. So the creator's knowledge, all universe-wide, is manifesting itself. So it must be by definition absolute. Absolute knowledge cannot be subject to space and time limitations. Absolute knowledge.
Mhm. Correct.
Therefore, whatever I choose, the creator knows it with his infinite knowledge and creates it according to my choice. He doesn't force me to choose.
It doesn't force me to choose, correct.
No,
So it does not interfere in my
no. Free
choice.
choice,
Right.
free will, by definition, chooses freely. That's God's decision to give human beings to choose freely. He has given consciousness, he has given memory, he has given ability to learn. I experience from my observation of the previous existence, previous creations, and I learn how, in terms of the Quran, Sunnatullah, the way God creates, it always orderly creation. So what I learn here, if I do this, God promises me that he will create this. So if I obey his order, if I obey his will, the way he creates, then I realize that God promises me the result he is going to create. When I decide to obey the order, then God knows with his absolute knowledge what I will decide for me will. For me, I will decide. For God, I decide. For God, creator, I decide. He knows, he creates accordingly, according to my free choice. That is the, how is it called here? Principles of
Knowledge.
knowledge. Principles of knowledge, God's knowledge.
Okay, so this is God's knowledge. Principles of knowledge are not fundamental to the knowledge, so that the knowledge directs the thing.
Fundamental means here cause of existence. Are not fundamental so that knowledge directs the things known with regard to its external existence. Let's see the translation.
So basically, to me, I understand that. So the knowledge, absolute knowledge, does not interfere with the free will of the person, of anyone.
God's knowledge.
God's knowledge, yeah.
My.
So it's not, so it directs the thing with regard to its external existence. Because the essence of the thing known and its external existence look to will and are based on power.
For me now.
Okay.
God knows it. I don't know whether English gives this meaning or not. God knows what am I going to choose with his absolute free will, absolute will.
Right.
Now, as far as I am concerned, my knowledge, if I do this, it will, the result will be this. Now, my knowledge of this is not fundamental reason to create the result for me. My knowledge is only for asking, not creating. When I obey the way God creates, it doesn't mean that I am creating it in this sense.
Correct.
Is this sentence explains it clearly?
No.
The original text makes it clear. But maybe it's that I just looked at it, it is difficult to translate.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it must need an explanatory translation, not literal. This is literal translation.
I see.
Now, this is the principles of knowledge are not fundamental. Fundamental means because I know something, so that I will create it. I am the reason for the result to exist.
I see.
Now, for example, God's knowledge also, God knows, but he is not obliged to create according to what he knows. Now, why he creates, we see that God, the one who created it, has created it with his attribute, quality of knowledge, power, wisdom. But knowledge does not necessitate that God has to create it.
Okay.
Because he promised that he will create, that's why he creates it.
Okay. So absolute knowledge is not obliged to create according to the human free, whatever the,
No, he keeps his promise.
he keeps his promise.
That's it.
Okay.
For example, for human beings also, if you know something, doesn't mean that because you know you created.
No, I don't.
No. Now, if I do it, it will
It gets
be created. Not
right.
because I do, I know it.
Doesn't mean, yeah.
No, I will create it. That's what materialist people think they are doing.
Because they know it there.
No, I know how to do it. Look, I'm doing it. That's the very fine point, actually.
So by obeying the order, they're saying they're doing it.
And obeying the creator's promise.
Promise, right. Okay. So because the essence of the thing known and its external existence look to will and are based on power.
Now, explain it.
Yes, this is the key.
No, that is the explanation. External existence is realized with knowledge. Power, sorry. Power. Power is needed, but we don't have power to create.
Right.
God is free to manifest his power. It means to decide to create.
Mm-hmm.
But because he promised, he keeps it. That is what people are misunderstanding or misinterpreting. Order, they say the order is realized with knowledge,
right?
Not chaotic.
Mm.
So order necessitates it to happen in this way. That is called natural laws.
So, order as if it's existing by itself.
As if there is an order externally existing there, and it's an agent to create.
Okay.
So it's simple-mindedness.
That's what naturalism is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, pre-eternity is not the tip of a chain reaching into the past, which should be considered the end point in the existence of things and a source of compulsion.
Now, I think these are very fundamental existential fundamental explanation of creation. Very fine point. Pre-eternity is not the tip of the chain of reaching into the past. It should be considered the end of point in the existence of the thing. Now, if we don't understand continuous creation, we never understand this subject. Because pre-eternity, what does it mean? God knew it before he started the universe to create. Yeah. Okay. And it now it is continuing the chain, but only orderly creation is continuing. You see the difference? No. Now, orderly creation is continuously happening.
Correct.
Not because God
so it's moving
created
forward
in the beginning, and also has to follow the orderly creation necessarily according to as he started the beginning of creation. But his knowledge is infinite. That's nothing else. His knowledge must be infinite. Why? At this moment, what I see in the existence of every being, at this moment, This moment, everything exists with knowledge. And you see the quality of knowledge there. Knowingly creation.
Mhm.
But next moment is another knowing the creation. For me, another. For God, absolute manifestation, infinite manifestation. But because I cannot comprehend infinite, I say next creation, the following creation.
Mhm.
But for the creator, for the absolute being, there is no
Past, present, or
next,
future.
next.
Right.
No,
There's no space time.
continuous manifestation.
Continuous. Makes sense, yeah.
Yes.
So rather, pre-eternity holds the past, the present, and the future all at once.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
Ezel in Arabic, ezeli in Arabic means past, present, future,
All at once.
all at once. That is a revolutionary way of explaining existence.
Mhm. Looking at them from above like a mirror.
Now, simple explanation now. Now, knowledge. Of course, the author is trying to
Teach to
teach
people.
how we should understand the absoluteness, infiniteness of the knowledge.
Mhm.
A mirror example. Yeah.
So absolute knowledge is just looking at them above like a mirror.
Now, let's read the example.
In which case it is not right to imagine an end to past time, which stretches back within the sphere of contingency and call it pre-eternity.
That is our memory.
And to suppose that things enter the knowledge of pre-eternity in sequence.
Now, he is not knowing. He knows absolutely at every moment, in each creation.
Yeah.
How can we comprehend it? We cannot comprehend how the essence of it is. What we can comprehend, there must be a creator who must have absolute infinite knowledge, which is beyond my comprehension of its essence.
And to suppose that things enter the knowledge of pre-eternity in sequence, and that one self is outside it. To reason thus is not right. So basically, as you said, continuous creation, understanding the aspect of things being created continuously. Although we see it in space and time bound, and we see things happening in sequence, but absolute knowledge is not what we observe. So it all happens at once. Theoretically, it makes sense to me. So to reason, so the knowledge that I have is not the same as absolute knowledge. So consider the following example in order to explain this mystery. So let's see what the example is. Suppose there is a mirror in your hand, and the area to your right is the past, and the area to your left, the future. The mirror only holds what is opposite it.
Doesn't decide the future.
So the mirror only holds what is opposite of it. Then where the movement,
The opposite of it means
the mirror.
what's exposed to the mirror. For example, if you expose the mirror to left, the mirror has to show the
Left side.
right to the right side.
Right.
Now, turn the face, Opposed means not against. Whatever is exposed to it.
Whatever is exposed to it, I see. So then with a movement, it holds both sides, but it cannot hold all of it. So both the past and the future is being held
At the same
at
time.
the same time. However, lo, the mirror is held, less will appear in it. And the higher it rises, the area it encompasses expands until it can hold both sides in their entirety simultaneously.
Now, as much as we can imagine how the universe is this. Now, this is just space-wise imagination, but we can expand it to time-wise imagination as well, according to us. The whole universe. Now, if you keep the mirror, let's say 1 foot up to the object, it shows a very limited area. Yes, yeah. 1 foot. Now, if you higher it to 1 yard or 10 yard, it shows a larger area.
Right.
Now, continuously, higher it infinitely.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It encompasses everything. That is just an example, analogy.
Analogy, yeah.
So let's have a mirror which covers the creation from the beginning to the end, whatever we can imagine.
I see.
Covers everything at the same time. That's God's knowledge. So some scholars said the whole universe from the beginning to the end is nothing but kun. Be and it is. Time and space-wise. Of course, this is only possible to imagine in this way with the guidance or teaching of the Quran. Unfortunately, people may not be aware of it.
This is very interesting,
Right,
yeah.
but we have to try our best.
Yeah, so incredible, absolute, trying to understand absolute knowledge in a way, right?
Yeah.
How it works.
But we have to know that the agent in giving existence is not knowledge, not qudrat, power. So the creator must decide to create with his attribute, his what we say name. It means his quality to give existence to what he knows. So knowledge doesn't necessitate existence. For us, for God as well. But God has knowledge, power to create. We have knowledge from our previous experiences of the creation, but don't have power to create. We don't have power to create. We just choose, obey the orderly creation. So
the created DNA has knowledge, but it cannot create in a way.
But DNA doesn't have knowledge. Now, DNA, in the existence of DNA, the one who created the universe manifests his knowledge in it. I know what I have studied, created. I know what am I going to create.
I see.
So trust me. So when you see the DNA, the doctors start speaking, saying, your child will be like this. We check the DNA. Your child will have a such and such normal, or they call it normal. It means no problem, according to we know. But for example, one couple I know, they had this ultrasound, and ultrasound find the DNA recordings and said your child will have a hole in his heart.
I see.
Now, so the doctor said, you decide. whether what do they do to the child? Abortion? No.
Abortion.
Abortion.
Yes.
No, abortion or not. They said we trust God, that they are believers.
Mm.
So we trust God, whatever Allah gives, and we cannot kill the person because his heart is going to have a heart. But they ask whether it is God's creation, but the doctor doesn't speak in this way.
Right.
As that this child will not live anyways. No, no, no. It takes some time to cure, to close this hole.
Right.
But you will have a hard time. So, okay.
Okay.
So the child is now running.
Mashallah.
It was years ago. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what does it mean? God let us know that he is creating a child
With a hole.
with a heart, with a hole in it.
I see.
Lets us know that he
Right.
knows what he's
Right.
creating.
His knowledge is
Knowledge is
manifested
there
in there, yeah.
in
the
DNA.
data, in the data,
The
yeah.
codification is nothing but the program of the creator letting us know what he's going to create, and accordingly you will decide. You will choose. For example, what do? They read the DNA codes,
Right.
and they change the DNA codes according to the way it is allowed to change.
Oh,
Now,
they follow some order
so
to change. Yeah.
they think that because we changed the DNA codes,
Yeah.
oh, the result is this. No, God says, okay, we are asking because we are given permission to change the plan of God. We are given permission, otherwise we cannot change it.
Yes.
So we use this asking God to create like this. He says, okay, because you obeyed my choice, my principle, then I promise that I will create what you want.
I see.
So it doesn't mean that we are changing God's knowledge, but as far as we are concerned,
Right.
we are changing the project. Or now, but God says, I am allowing you to, I am presenting you to the knowledge manifested in it, what I am going to create, unless you change it.
I see.
So what we do, we change it. Now, we do it always. For example, you go to the faucet,
right,
to get water. So you turn it on, water starts running, created. You turn it off, it stops. That's what Allah says. Okay, if you turn it this way, I will not send you water. That's it.
Right.
I will not create water running. Nothing is different, but it is going in the micro world.
Right.
We think that the knowledge of scientists is deciding what to exist next time. Knowledge is not enough to create.
Knowledge is not enough to create.
Yeah, that was fundamental principle there. Fundamental, so the knowledge, principles of knowledge are not fundamental. So that the knowledge directs things known with regard to its external existence. It miscreates from the beginning.
Right.
This is a very, very serious subject, but
okay, Faria, go ahead.
We're talking about knowledge. I know there's absolute knowledge, but then there's also knowledge that's available to me. But I feel when we're referring, or the author is referring to knowledge of the creator, it's not the same as the knowledge that I experience, because I only observe the order in the universe, and that's what I call as knowledge. For example, I sow the seed, water it, plant it, then that's how the results may or may not be created. So this is the knowledge I have. But when we speak about absolute knowledge, it's really about either the result is created or not in terms of existence. I mean, does that make sense? Because my knowledge is just what I observe in creation, but when we refer to as absolute knowledge, it has to do with the existence of anything coming into existence. Is it fair to say that? Does it make sense?
Yeah, so we are subject to space and time. But absolute knowledge is not subjected to space and time. Right? So it contains everything, past, present, future. For us, we remember from memory there's a past, so that we learn based on what we observe in the order. So that is what constitutes our knowledge, which is the study of the order of the universe, which is actually the knowledge of God, which is manifested in the order. Does that make sense? So whatever is in the order that I'm obeying, that is actually the manifestation of God's knowledge.
I am obeying.
I'm obeying his knowledge.
And also, I can ask the creator, for example, I plant an apple tree, and 2 years later, how do you say, plant an pear branch of a pear into it? What do you do it?
Yeah,
What was the word?
I don't remember, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, I think everybody should understand.
Anybody knows what?
There is a word for it. Who remembers the word?
Somebody.
You can check out.
Adam's saying grafting. Graft, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Grafting, hey? Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. So when I grafted, the same tree program starts producing pears, not apple. Correct?
Right.
Exactly what they do, they change the DNA. Exactly.
I see.
How? By changing the position of it, like doing the grafting.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that God wanted to create it in this way, but these people changed God's knowledge or God's will. No, God gives the permission to make drafting. It is within the order of creation that I can do grafting.
Right.
Now we have to understand. So people.
I don't understand it. Can you please explain the grafting piece?
So everything in the universe, basically the DNA, when they change the code, so that's like grafting. It follows the order in creation as well.
Because order of creation allows me to do grafting. Order of the creation of DNA codes allows me to change the positions. So I'm using it, the result is created. I cannot create the result. Wait for the creation of the result. And God keeps his promise. They think that they are doing it. Materialist people think that
they are doing it.
No, it is not God is deciding. I am deciding to do.
Right.
And I'm doing it, extension. No, I am giving the permission to decide to change by obeying the order of the creation of DNA codes. So I cannot create it, wait for it to be created. God keeps his promise and creates it accordingly.
Okay, any other thoughts or comments?
I think pretty much what we always say in terms of human beings are only human beings are only discovering what's already in absolute knowledge as well, because I feel absolute knowledge encompasses everything. So when I discover the order in creation, or scientists or researchers, then all they're doing is putting the mirror a little up, and get a better grasp of things.
So discover whatever is already manifested in the knowledge.
I think putting the mirror up and up example, it doesn't apply here. That's what I have been thinking about it. I don't think it applies, but I only examine what already exists right now.
I see.
Now, so as far as I am concerned, I know only now, and I have memory of the previous existence. So maybe when Feriha said putting the mirror up means using my previous accumulated experience, therefore accumulated knowledge about how orderly creation is taking place. The problem is orderly creation.
Right.
Now, I had a problem with one of the AI. Now, I offered text, long text.
Orderly creation.
And orderly, continuous creation process. It never accepted that. When I said put it into but not only this phrase, a paragraph includes this phrase. This phrase never returned back to me. What does it say? God's intrinsic design. I didn't say intrinsic design.
Right.
So insisted, continuously gave orderly. I use it very often in the text. At the end, yesterday, only yesterday, Gemini, this AI, replied back, look, continuous creation process missed orderly, because they don't want to give order, or not the AI doesn't want.
Yeah.
In the culture, there is no terminology which includes creation is orderly taking place. But they think God creates, but order is out there. That is what the worldwide culture or concepts are everywhere. It means even the students of the Quran never mentioned this orderly creation. It is a disaster for students of the Quran. Means really Quran is not really widely understood in this way. Quranic message. They say God creates in order, and materialists say, yeah, God created, but the order is functioning now. That is why it never, so far, it never accepted orderly creation, this term, orderly creation. In even continuous creation process didn't accept, but only yesterday, because after maybe I used maybe 20 times, then it, I think its memory, recalls it, orderly creation, but never, not orderly creation, continuous creation process, because I made difference between Christian understanding of creation and Muslim understanding of creation, Quranic understanding of creation. I emphasize that Christians understand the universe has been created from the beginning by God with a perfect plan, intricate order plan.
Right.
Now the order is functioning.
Right.
According to God's choice of order, not according to God's choice of orderly creation at the moment. I emphasized on it a lot, but still the term orderly creation didn't come up from an AI. It means this vocabulary is not used in the worldwide culture of the
Right.
human race,
Correct.
human beings. What does it mean? Muslims are not doing their job and
To
not
talk about it.
really understanding what the creation is all about.
Right. Maria, go ahead.
Thank you for sharing all this. I'm just wondering, Brother Ali, I see that you're mentioning a lot about continuous orderly creation. There's a lot of emphasis being put on the awareness of definitely a continuous creation, but orderly next to it. And I'm just wondering, like, what's the catch? Or like really, what's the reason behind it? Because I think definitely there is, I mean, is the whole idea that I cannot separate the order from continuous creation? If you can clarify.
Yeah, understood. Now, God creates in order is a Christian concept,
Okay.
but there is no God creates at every moment each being in the universe. It doesn't exist in Christianity, but not necessarily in Christianity. Muslims believe in this way as well. So, but this is originally Torah understanding.
Okay.
Now, that is why I say Christian. Now, it's not a comparison between Islam and Christian. No, this understanding is wrong. God doesn't create in order. Why? So order exists. Look at the terminology. Look at the terminology. God creates in order, means there is God creating, order is out there,
Sorry.
independently existing there.
Mm.
So Christians say from the beginning. Quran says right now. Because Quran, summa khalaqa. Yeah? For example, هو الذي خلق هو الذي أحياكم هو الذي أحياكم ثم يميتكم. نعم. الذي خلقكم. Allahu Akbar. Doesn't come now at the beginning of Baqarah. Hay Allah. So let me see. It is important. Let's be patient, inshallah. Okay. يا أيها الذين آمنوا يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم الذين من قبلكم لعلكم
Talks about continuous creation.
No. This misunderstanding of the language. Allahu Akbar. Where was it? I see it. Okay.
Are we, can I say something or
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, are we also referring to, how we say khalaq al-jadida?
Halkul Cedid every moment. But although Quran says Halkul Cedid now, but classical scholarship says Halkul Cedid is only Akhirah. Sümme yumitukum sümme yuhyikum, you can search. Sümme yumitukum,
Summa yumitukum.
sümme yumitukum, sümme yuhyikum. Now, for
Summa
example,
yumitukum.
yeah,
Summa ilayhi turja'un.
وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا. Yeah, I was looking for it. No. كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. Now, classical scholarship says, oh, read the translation. Whose translation is it?
Asad, how can you refuse to acknowledge God, seeing that you were lifeless and he gave you life?
Now, be careful. You were lifeless, you gave you life. Now, life is given by him, okay?
And that he will cause you to die. Death is given by him.
No, not he will. Not he will.
He causes.
كيف تقول أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم, and then gives death again.
Gives death.
No, not he will.
Mhm.
No, next moment he will, yeah, according to me.
Right.
But God doesn't say will.
Will. He
No.
gives death.
Your observation, Quran speaks to phenomenological language. It means how I observe.
I see.
Now, I was alive yesterday, and Quran says when you go to sleep, you die. It's very interesting. It means, you see, you cannot keep your aliveness by yourself. You are subject to my will. So, every moment gives death to you. The agent here, God gives life. Death, God gives death. According to my observation. But in fact, his continuous giving, creating me with life is directly created by him, but I cannot sustain myself. Then, look, he gave you life, he will cause you to die, and then will bring you again to life, whereupon him you will be brought back. It means, they say, look, this this translation refers to the hereafter.
Right.
But why don't we read it as referring to my continuous creation? So it means when I see that I was alive yesterday, but it is gone. And then now I am giving life again. It is realized by my creator, by creating me with this existence with life. So, but generally what we simply see it, after I die, I will be returned to it.
The continuous being returned.
Now, that is why continuous orderly creation is important rather than continuous creation in order. It means that's why the materialists hijacked this empty space and said order is there and now order is functioning and order is creating.
Right.
Of course, they say everything is according to materialism, everything, however it happened, it inherited this development quality, evolving quality, better and better and better, and it is innate to it, inherent in its nature, they say. Ask AI. Inherent in the nature of every being.
I see.
No, I say we have to be careful about how the things are continuously created, turning back. We have to be about how the nature of the things. Now, nature of the things, not orderly. It means this vocabulary, this understanding doesn't exist. Now, generally, of course, but database are used in general references.
Mhm.
So it is not generally used. It is not really known. But design theory that the Christians put forward and Muslims copy paste it
Uh-huh.
as well, because they don't really think about existence seriously. So this vocabulary is very widely used, and AI doesn't see any harm in using it. Why? It is widely used, accepted. But exceptional cases, they don't take notes of the exceptional cases as their database reference.
Mhm.
That is the algorithm of programming works in this way.
Right.
Choose what is commonly known and used. I think, I don't know about it, how to make the programs, but it must be in this way.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is why the AI doesn't reply back. Rather than I'm an atheist, no, I shouldn't accept this and consciously reject it. AI is a program.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, so we have to know that summa doesn't necessarily after 60, 70 years later. No, every moment is changing, isn't it?
Yes.
Continuously change, but this continuously change is realized by the one who creates everything with absolute knowledge, absolute planning, absolute measuring, absolute wisdom, absolute choice, absolute order.
Okay.
Now, Nazam, God is Nazam. Nizam, order.
Order.
Nazam, the one who creates
It's
the
the
order.
order. Okay.
We have to now update this understanding of this kind of verses.
Anytime he wills, we should change it to remove the will part.
Now that
He causes you to die.
he will cause to you to die.
He,
We have to say every moment we are experiencing it.
every,
I don't have to wait until I die. It will be too late anyways to understand. God decides me to turn
Right.
back to him.
Mm.
No, every moment I am yuhyi wa yumi.
you feel it.
Yeah. Or yumitu wa yuhyi. As خلق الموت والحياة. When? Now, as far as I am concerned. But the reason why Quran speaks in this way, because he speaks to general public. General public understands how the things are
Right.
as they observe it. For example, tree is growing, yeah,
Right.
and sun is turning. But they say, no, sun is not turning. Quran is telling something wrong. No, earth is turning.
Right.
No, Quran is, as you think, whether earth turns, whether sun turns, doesn't matter.
Right.
The one who
Who's doing
makes it, creates it with turning,
Right.
earth or sun are the same. That is why we now understand that, we now say that,
Right.
if we think that the sun is turning, doesn't matter. It is realized by the creator. It is not turning by itself. That is what the message of the Quran gives the perspective,
I see.
different perspective.
Okay. We read this. So rather, pre-eternity holds the past, present, and future all at once, looking at them from above like a mirror, this is an analogy. on how absolute knowledge is. In which case, it is not right to imagine an end to past time which stretches back within the sphere of contingency and call it pre-eternity. And to suppose that things enter the knowledge of pre-eternity in sequence and that oneself is outside it. To reason thus is not right. So we consider the following example in order to explain the mystery. So we kind of went over this mirror example, and I think Brother Ali explained it. That if you take the mirror up and up, right? So it holds everything, the better. You can see pretty much everything. So divine determining is part of pre-eternal knowledge, and in the words of the Hadith, pre-eternal knowledge is at an elevated station, which from its lofty viewpoint encompasses everything that has been and will be from pre-eternity to post-eternity. So at an elevated station, which is its lofty viewpoint, encompasses everything. So absolute knowledge. We and our reasoning cannot be outside of it, so we can be like a mirror to the, cannot be outside of it, so we can be like a mirror to the area of the past. So it all falls within absolute knowledge or divine determining. Okay, any other comments or thoughts before we close for today? Because we are at time right now.
Can I just say something about, I mean, I think this is very important, the continuous orderly creation, because I think it's very obvious to notice the continuity. And then we talk about existence, then we talk about, hey, we follow an order, because I think even talking about existence in and of itself doesn't mean much anymore. But I think we need to hammer in on the fact that when we say existence, it's like everything that is capturing about the order, the continuation, and you know how we were mentioning earlier, like everything is brand new right now. It's
Right.
just flipping the pages of a book. I mean, I think that's what we need to, I guess,
Continuous
keep
orderly,
talking about, right? Inshallah.
inshallah. Okay, thank you. Right, so we'll stop here. We'll continue next time with the fifth. Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati surat al-Fatiha.
There needs to be done a correction.
Correction in the, let me stop this, yes. Stop share.